I first crossed paths with Kathy nearly a quarter of a century ago inside a cozy, dimly lit bar tucked away in New York City. It was one of those rare Friday nights when everything feels slowed down, almost suspended in time. I had been out with a group of friends, exchanging the usual laughs over drinks, when I spotted her on the opposite side of the room. There was something irresistibly captivating about her, an effortless charm in the way she smiled, the playful sparkle in her eyes, and an energy that seemed to draw people toward her like a magnet. I couldn't ignore it. I made my way over and sparked a conversation. What began as light-hearted small talk soon stretched on for hours. I found myself hooked by her sharp mind, quick wit, and adventurous spirit. She seemed so full of life, as if the world had never dimmed her sense of wonder. Not long after that night, we started seeing each other. Days turned into months, months into years, and I fell for her completely, deeply, and without a way back. As our bond deepened, I knew I wanted to spend my life with her. A couple of years later, I got down on one knee beneath a centuries-old oak tree in Central Park and asked her to marry me. She said yes, tears glistening in her eyes. We exchanged vows in a small, heartfelt ceremony surrounded by our closest friends and family. At the time, my business was doing well. I owned a small company that provided a steady and comfortable income. New York's cost of living was sky high, but I worked hard to ensure Kathy never felt any financial pressure. We enjoyed a life of security, with more than just the basics. We had plenty of luxuries, too. I made every effort to give her the life she deserved. However, Kathy's circle of friends told a different story. Most of them were married to men with deep pockets, men who tossed around credit cards without a second thought, and who, after inevitable divorces, paid out jaw-dropping amounts in alimony. These women didn't just survive after their marriages ended. They thrived, living carefree lives filled with indulgence and zero accountability. I never liked them. To me, they embodied a kind of moral decay, hidden behind flashy labels and fake smiles. I cautioned Kathy about letting their lifestyle and attitudes rub off on her. Some of these women even made passes at me when Kathy wasn't around. I never mentioned it. What would have been the point? Instead, I kept my distance and trusted her. Kathy often assured me that she loved the life we had built together, that she wasn't like them, and that no amount of peer pressure would change who she was. And for a long while, I believed her. But everything began to shift as Kathy neared her mid-40s. On her 45th birthday, instead of spending the day with me or with our son, Ron, who was away at college, she chose to celebrate with her friends. She explained that one of them was moving out of the city, and they had planned something special. I had hoped we'd spend the evening together, but I didn't push. I stayed home with a bottle of Jack Daniels and my restless thoughts. Kathy, always active on social media, decided to live stream her party. What I saw left me sick to my stomach. Her so-called friend surprised her with a cake shaped like a man's private parts, decorated with obscene designs. She laughed, took a bite of it, danced along with them. The night ended at a male strip club, and she made sure to record every second for all her followers to see. When she got back home, I didn't explode in anger. Instead, I spoke calmly from a place of deep disappointment. I told her she hadn't just embarrassed herself. She had embarrassed us. I reminded her that she was a wife, a mother, and that flaunting herself like that in public was shameful. I also pointed out that our son could easily come across those videos. She placed the blame squarely on her friends, claiming the trip to the strip club had been a surprise. But surprises only catch you off guard until you open the door. After that, it's a choice to step inside. She broke down crying. I couldn't even share the same bed with her that night. The following morning, she said nothing and headed off to the gym. A cold silence settled over our home. Weeks passed before I finally asked her if she was still angry. Her response stunned me. She lashed out, calling me insecure and mocking my supposed lack of a social life. She accused me of being unable to handle the fact that she was still vibrant and desirable. I told her I never set foot in strip clubs out of respect for her, but she didn't seem to catch the irony. From that point on, our conversations became few and far between. Kathy threw herself into TikTok, obsessing over followers and turning her everyday life into some kind of stage performance. I stopped watching. I poured my attention into my work, into Ron, into anything other than her online antics. On my birthday, we all spent the day together. Me, Kathy, and Ron. But even then, she barely looked up from her phone. Ron noticed too and asked, "What's up with Mom?" I brushed it off with a joke about the social media craze, but inside, I was burning. Later that night, while driving back home, I couldn't keep it bottled up any longer. I eased the car to the side of the road and calmly asked her to step out. She obliged, and almost immediately, she began live streaming the scenery around her. That's what I had been reduced to in her world. A mere backdrop for her online persona. Without a word, I took her phone from her hands and ended the broadcast. I told her, firmly but without anger, that families deserve genuine presence, not stage performances for strangers. Another year slipped by. When her next birthday arrived, I tried to reconnect. I gave her a bracelet set with diamonds, something I thought might remind her of us. She gave me a kiss, flashed a smile, and once again chose to celebrate with her friends. I stayed behind, sitting in a house that felt emptier than ever. The following morning, I finally gathered the courage to suggest counseling. I told her we were standing on the brink of something we might not be able to fix if we didn't act soon. She brushed it off, as if I'd asked her what color shoes she was wearing, grabbed her juice, and went to the gym like nothing happened. I stayed home, hoping she'd come back ready to talk. Instead, she returned with her friends in tow. I pulled her aside and asked her directly what she really wanted out of all this. Her answer was soft, almost hollow. She confessed she'd been thinking about leaving me for the past 2 years. The admission hit me like a punch I didn't see coming. She told me she wanted a fresh start. I warned her, not out of spite, but out of plain truth, that the friends she idolized were shallow, lost souls. The world she thought awaited her wasn't the fantasy Instagram made it seem. You'll be surrounded by predators, I told her. She snapped back without missing a beat. Then let them devour me. I'll still be happy. That was it. The very next day, she uploaded a video declaring to her followers that she was finally chasing her dreams. "I'm just being real," she said to the camera. Not long after, she called me, saying she missed me. I warned her calmly. This was the last chance. Once the divorce papers were signed, there'd be no second thoughts. She hung up without a word. A few weeks later, it was final. No tearful farewells. No closure. Kathy moved out. Ron took it hard, though he later admitted he had seen it coming for a while. The day after she left, Kathy posted some cryptic nonsense online about holes in aluminum foil and how she could finally see the light. I shook my head. A few days later, another post surfaced. This time, she was flaunting some 20-something gym rat, shirtless, posing with her like a trophy. I actually laughed. Well, I muttered to myself, at least my money's getting some abs. But then came the flood of melodrama, tearful videos, heartbroken confessions. Turns out, he dumped her within weeks. A mutual friend confirmed it. Another young guy followed, and then another. Then came a tasteless lingerie video from some cheap-looking private party. She was spiraling, and I felt nothing, no anger, no sorrow, just silence. I happened to run into her by chance at a restaurant. She was with yet another man. I walked out before she noticed. Not long after, she uploaded a desperate TikTok, saying, "I just want my old life back. I miss my family. I miss my husband. Ted warned me, but I didn't listen." A few days later, she showed up at my office unannounced, claiming she wanted to come home. I couldn't help it. I laughed. A real, honest laugh. Home. I asked, "There is no home, Kathy. I sold the house. You remember, you wanted that fancy apartment, your Nirvana pad. You got it." She hesitated, then asked if she could at least stay with me. "I share my bed with my dog now," I said, "a big old St. Bernard, and he doesn't take kindly to strangers." "I'm not a stranger," she whispered. "To him you are, and to me too." I looked her straight in the eye and said, "I'm not Will Smith, and you're not Jada. I don't play the betrayal game. You made your choice. Now you live with it." She left in tears. Not long after, another video popped up, This one about how hard it is to find love after 45. She's right. It's tough, but she had love. She had loyalty. She had a family. And she threw it all away for fleeting attention, shallow approval from strangers, and meaningless flings with men who forgot her name by sunrise. You don't start life over at 47. Nature's laws don't change. Things mature for a reason. Leave them too long and they decay. Kathy ignored every warning. She chased shadows. And when reality finally caught up, she found herself utterly alone. As for me, I may never marry again. I'm in my 50s now. I've known love. I've known heartbreak. And now I've found peace. My son is strong. My business is solid. And every evening, my dog greets me with more loyalty than I ever saw in Kathy's eyes toward the end. And honestly, that's enough for me. When my time comes, everything I built will go to Ron. As for the rest, I've let it go